Hey, everybody, it's me, Elias Israel, coming to you live from the studio and office of Elias Israel Comedy. Thanks for joining the YouTube station, and thanks for joining the New You versus Screw You podcast. I am excited about today's podcast. It is episode number 2 on the podcast, and here on the live YouTube. I don't know what number this is, but we're in the beginning. We're in the beginning stages, and I'm thankful to be part of your life. Thank you for subscribing and all that kind of stuff. I had a great week. Had an interesting week. Great comedy week. So last week, starting, I guess let's start on Sunday. Last week, I got to be a part of a comedy show there at the Ventura Harbor Comedy Club in Ventura, California. And that was great. Randy and Andy, they own the club, and they've always we're just one of the best clubs in the United States. And I really love being a part of any shows there, and comics there are always friendly, nice, and it's a little deceiving doing comedy in Ventura. And I'll tell you why. I live in Ventura, California. Just Ventura, for the rest of you who don't know, if you hear noise in the background, I'll show you. For the YouTubers, I'll show you exactly what that noise is. Hold on. That noise is this. There's a cat. There's a cat in this box. For those of you listening to the podcast, you didn't get the visual of that, but I've got 2 cats. One I consider my cat. The other one is just kind of it's the sister, it's the sibling of the cat, and they're both great cats. They're identical. When I say they're great cats, they're just cats. Like, you could throw these things outside and they would go away and never, ever think about you again. Like, they're just cats. And you'll see one, my cat, Dukeson, her actual name is Daisy Dukes, but I call her Dukeson because I call her Dukes. And then, you know how that song goes, look at that girl with the Daisy Dukes on. And so I just took the Dukeson part and hey, Dukeson. So that's what I do. Anyway, there's a cat in that box over there doing its own thing. So why I was saying playing Ventura comedy is a little deceiving. It's deceiving, and I'll tell you why. Because people in Ventura, here in this area of the Southern California coastline, they're just real friendly, especially if they know you're from here. And so it can be deceiving because you can think you've got some new material you're testing out, and you can think it's going really well, and then you take that same material somewhere else, and you realize, hey, maybe this isn't fully developed like I thought it was, just because they're on your side. Like, here in Ventura, people seem to be on your side. And that's what I like about where I live here in Ventura. It's a little beach town, beach community, just north of Los Angeles, California. And I like it. It's good. It's slow. It's paced. No one's in a hurry here, and I like that. So anyway, I got to be a part of that show, and that was more of a showcase thing, and it was great. It was good times. Some of my friends from Zumba came out. My Zumba instructor, Jorge, and some of the clan came out, and it was so great to see them. And I just appreciate any support. It really means a lot. Listen, if you know me and see I'm going to be in an area somewhere, you may think, it doesn't matter if we go or not. There's going to be other people there. It really does mean a lot to see people that I know and friendly faces, and just to feel that support and that love. It's meaningful to me, and it allows me. I don't know. I mean, I have all my life wanted to do comedy, you know what I'm saying? In one way or another, I didn't realize it was stand-up that I wanted to do until later in life, but I've always done something in the form of comedy. I've always cut the tension with comedy. I've always, made awkward situations better with comedy. I always got myself in trouble at school with comedy. When I was in high school, I used to draw character pictures because I can draw. I used to draw character pictures of the teacher, and then with little bubbles of things to put in, and then I'd pass it to the next person, and the next person would they would put something, they'd write something, and then the next person would write something, next person would write something. And so it got out of control and out of hand. And then by the time the teacher found it, because, they would always see, as you're an adult, you figure out what's going on. And then she picks it up, and then it'd always be these horrible, probably inappropriate things that were said. And it looks like she said, and so I'd get in trouble. So comedy got me in trouble. I was also the class clown in 10th grade and 11th grade. I was the class clown. I was nominated and voted and elected class clown of my class, which really only means like if we were picking a student government, if we had our own country, our own world to govern, people would say, okay, I think, like Brian's great leader. He's going to be our president. And then what about Suzanne? Suzanne's really good. Like, she's going to be our treasurer. And, we need a secretary. We need that. We need a village idiot who can represent us in the most foolish way. And, Elias, that's who, he's going to be the guy. And so that's what I was. And I was proud to take, I'm proud to take that title. And so comedy has always been a passion of mine. And so for when people come out and support it, people come out and say, just to be nice and say, I heard you were playing, and just wanted to come and see you and say hi. That means a lot to me. So anyway, my friends from Zumba did that on Sunday night at the show I was in. And then Wednesday, I got to fly out to Phoenix, Arizona. And I was brought out there by the Springs I've worked with several times. They're in Chandler. So if you're in the Phoenix area, there's little subsections there. The boxes just went down. There's little subsections there. And in Chandler, Arizona, which is, I think, the East Valley. I think the West Valley. It's the West Valley, maybe. Anyway, it's one of the valleys. And I got to go there. They've been working with their young people on mindset. So they're closing out for the summer. And so they brought me in to share some of my thoughts on mindsets. And like this podcast is called the New You versus the Screw You. It deals with mindsets. There's a mindset that is the new version of you, and there's the mindset that is the screw version of you. It screws everything up. You screw things up when you operate with this certain mindset. And so I got to share with them, and it was fun. We had barbecue, and it was good. They had it catered in, and it was amazing. Got to see my old buddy Justin Klatt and stay at his house and swim in his pool, and that was really nice. And then talked some shop because his wife Janae Klatt, she is a events coordinator for a really high-end big time company. And so we got to talk some business about my marketing toward corporate events and toward companies doing their annual thing. Because that's one of the things I do is I go in, I'm a clean comic. They would term me as a clean comic just because my content is safe. And that's just the way I've always written. It's not like something, okay, yeah, I'm against it. No. It's just how I write. And so I got to talk shop with her and share some ideas and get some thoughts that were very valuable to me in some strategies to put myself in front of those companies as I'm growing in that area. And and listen, if you're out there and you're listening and you've got a company thing, it can be literally your own private company and you've got 2 employees and you guys are having your annual whatever. There's 2 streams really of what I do, and it's all comedy based. One is you're having your annual Christmas party, your annual your annual summer bash, whatever, and you want to bring in someone safe because the whole family's going to come in, and you want to make it fun. I've got little graphics and stuff like that I pitch myself as corporate comedy that rocks. And so we can do a corporate comedy thing and high end. It'll be fun, funny, all that kind of stuff. And so it's just, I'll be the comedian for that. And then also the second thing is comedy with a mindset leadership bend. And so I share my stories on my heart issue. I don't know if you know this, but I had a quadruple bypass, scar on that on the YouTube thing, but I got a big scar that goes from here to here where they cracked me open. And so I share things that in business are heart issues that are either killing you or you're killing it at work. And so these are things and mindsets, the new you versus screw you, 5 mindsets that will hold you back. And so that's all done in a comedy type setting too. Anyway, so I got to do that on Wednesday night. And then on, Saturday night, I got to perform with two great comics here in Ventura. Again, it was more of a corporate thing for like a marriage event that they were closing out with a comedy date night. Packed house. It was awesome. The comics, Dwayne Perkins, and he just killed it. He was awesome. So if you haven't heard of Dwayne Perkins, look him up. And he's been on a bunch, all the stuff, all the credits. And so he rocked it. And then the other comic was Carlos Oscar, HBO, Comedy Central several times, but it was awesome. Awesome. So I got to perform with those guys, and that went well. So I had a good week. Good comedy week. And then let's see, yesterday, here's what I want to talk to you guys about for just a second. And then we'll just close out. I know you're busy. I'm not going to eat up your whole day. Maybe you're on a long drive and you're like, man, I want this to be longer. That's okay. You can listen again. So yesterday, my two daughters, there's Morgan and there's Layla. So Morgan, as most of you know our story, I guess most of you don't. There's 8 billion people in the world. Why am I to assume that all 8 billion people know my story? So Stephanie and I, Stephanie's my wife, we blended families. We blended our families. We got married and blended our families. And so she has 3 children and I have 3 children. One of her children he lives elsewhere and he's older. And then one of my child lives elsewhere and she's older. And so we have 2 each in the home. And so Stephanie came to the table with Morgan and Ashton, and I came to the table with Evan and Layla. And so yesterday we went to the beach, and it was me. I was just going to get some running in while the girls, they only had an hour. And so Layla and Morgan, and then Layla's friend, who will remain nameless because I haven't got her permission to share this. But she's just kind of a side character in this. She's not a side character in her own world, but she's in this story, just kind of a side character that doesn't play a huge part in this story. But she's an additional person. Her presence is there. And so we go to the beach, and I just decide, you know what, I'm just going to sit here and relax. And so I laid back, I kicked my feet up, relaxed, and I saw the girls, and they were playing, they were doing their thing, and they're all teenagers. And then I hear Elijah, and it was Morgan's voice, and she was calling out to me, and she said, Layla stepped on something sharp and she's bleeding really bad. And I was like, oh no. And so I looked, and there she was, and I could tell the look on her face. You know what a parent knows there's certain looks, and there's certain, there's something that's connected with you and your child that when it's a certain level. When when they're just saying something and you're like, I don't know if it's really that bad. And then there's a certain level where her face she looked scared and she was hurting. And so they wobbled her over to the blanket where I was. I put my shirt around her foot to stop the bleeding. And we looked in there. We couldn't, we see a little cut, but so we marched her. Morgan at one point tried to get her to do a piggyback. And so she did a piggyback ride with Layla, and through the sand, and then off to the parking lot, and we gathered all the stuff up, and Layla was in excruciating pain. She was, Dad, this hurts. Oh, and she was trying not to. I know that she was trying not to. You know that look that we give when we're trying not, we're just, and people were like, are you okay? And you're like, like that, but we're really not. She was really not okay, and I could tell. And so here's the thing: I had to get Morgan and Chloe, Layla's friend, back to the house so that way the friend could be picked up, and Morgan was about to be picked up to go somewhere else. And so I had to get them back to the house. But Layla, I thought, well, we'll treat it when I get home. We'll wash it out. But it was getting bad. And so I thought that maybe she stepped on a jellyfish. If you've ever been, stung by a jellyfish, it hurts really bad. And so then I started thinking in my head all those stories you see on those shows where people are like, they're always somewhere else. They're always visiting somewhere else. It's always an American visiting another land, and they got stung by something, and they ended up in a Mexico hospital or in Guatemala somewhere, and they couldn't get home. But it quickly the thing quickly expedited. You know what I'm saying? This poison. And so I was thinking in my head, oh no, what if it's something like that? And so by the time we got home, it was about 7 miles from the beach. No, it's not 7 miles. We're only a mile from the beach, but it takes about 7 minutes with traffic. And so we got home, turned around, and I had to get Evan, my son, to run me out a shirt because I was shirtless now. I was going to take her to the emergency room so they could look at this. And on the way, she just got worse and worse, and she was screaming, and it was horrible. If you're a parent, that's the worst thing. That's the worst thing is when you're a parent and you can't do anything. Your child is hurting, and there's nothing you can do. Like there's just, and I was like, oh no. And so I was trying, I was running red lights. I was going, and that for me, anyone who knows me, that is not, but I had to get my daughter the help that she needed. And so on the way, she was getting so bad, and the hospital is literally only about, from where we were, about 5 minutes. But I called 911 on the way because I thought, well, what if something, I don't want her heart to race, poison, get up in there. I didn't know what had encountered. And so I just know that she was not faking it, man. It was horrible. And so I called 911, and they said, sir, listen, if you can't make it to the hospital, we don't know what's going on, but if you need to pull over and just tell us where you are, so that way we can send the paramedics. And so at first I was like, no, but then Layla was getting so bad that I decided that there's no way I'm not going to, because then we'd have to go into the emergency room, get fine parking, all the stuff. And the emergency rooms will take forever sometimes. And especially if they're like, oh, you stepped on something, it hurts, they don't necessarily know what's going on. So the paramedics, their job is just specifically you. And so as soon as I called and was talking to the lady, then, I could hear the sirens. They must have been close, and they pulled over. We pulled over at the top of the hill downtown. And here comes the paramedics, and, oh, look, everybody, it's Luna the dog. And the paramedics came. And then, so when they came, I waved them down, and there I was trying to put the shirt on. I was waving them down, and they came, and the first guy out, big, tall man, and he came out, and I told him what happened. Layla was in the backseat of the Jeep, and she was just, she was crying, and she was trying not to scream. And he immediately said, oh, that's a stingray. Stingray stung you. And he just knew. And the reason he knew is because he actually was just working here on this with this team today, but he spent 17 years working at a beach paramedic section where they get these all the time. And so the other two paramedics, they didn't really know how to treat this, but he knew exactly. He said the first thing we got to do is we got to get hot water on that. We need to get her foot in hot water, because hot water is going to neutralize the poison, and it's going to cause the pain to stop immediately. It's going to stop the pain. That poison's just going in there. See, the thing stuck her because she stepped in the water. She didn't see it. And so when she stepped down, she stepped on top of a stingray. And that stingray, so he's just trying to get away. He's just, why do I think it's a guy? Because his name's Ray. Okay. And so he's just trying to get away. So he stabs her and he takes off, but the poison goes up in, and it's spreading throughout her leg, and she's hurting. There goes my baby. She's off. And so it's hurting for certain. And so he says, the first thing we got to do is get this. And so he just starts knocking on the gate of this house that we're in front of. And he said, excuse me. And so the people who live there, they come out, and he said, we need to borrow a 5-gallon bucket, and with hot water. Do you have a 5-gallon bucket? And I was thinking to myself, man, if I were in their shoes, I don't know that I don't know gallons. I don't know how big something is. So they did exactly what I would do. They pull out a trash can from like their kitchen or something, and it doesn't matter. She's hurting. And so they boil water, and Layla's back there. She is hurting. And I was thinking, come on, hurry up. You know how long it takes to heat up water. And so they bring it out finally, and Layla's trying not to, and the paramedics are surrounding her, trying to calm her down. And I'm just standing there going, oh, come on. And then she puts her foot in the thing, and it immediately, the pain subsides. The pain stops. Not only but completely, she still got stabbed in the foot, but the pain from the poison stopped. And then we just kind of kept doing that for, about 20 minutes. And he said, okay, so what's going to happen now is you're going to have to go back home and, or you can take her to the emergency room. You can take her to the hospital, but really they're not going to be able to, unless she got something stuck up in there and it stayed. There's really no reason to do that, because what you want to do is you want to stop the poison. You want to neutralize it. She was injected with poison. It wouldn't be enough to kill you. Now it did kill the crocodile hunter guy. The reason why is I think that because he got stabbed in the chest, so it got directly into his heart. I think that's the reason. So it accelerated the thing. But this wasn't enough to usually, unless you've got an issue with that kind of poison. So he said that should be fine. If there is any acceleration of the heart, if there is any trouble breathing, then take her in. But it's pretty safe to just take her home. But as soon as you get that foot out of the hot water, it's going to start hurting again. And so you got to keep that hot water. So I just went back to the people and I was like, hey, can we bring you back this trash can later? And they said, you can have the trash can. So I'm going to send them a thank you later on, and a little thank you note with a new trash can. But so we go back and to the house, and Layla walks in with a trash can. And so about 45 minutes, and finally it stopped. And now she's just sore from where she got stabbed by the stingray. So it was an adventurous day yesterday. It was supposed to be a relaxing day on the beach, but it was adventurous because of that. What do I take away from all that? Because like I said, this podcast, this station, well, not necessarily the station will have a collaboration of different things, but the podcast is built for the purpose of us using experiences, conversations, interviews, and figuring out what it is we can take away from those things to help us grow in our mindset. So here's what I took away yesterday. One is you can be just up to something that is fun with pure motives and have no wrong motives, no nothing like that, and end up hurt. And when you end up hurt because of something you didn't see, because of some direction you were walking, so that could be something, we're walking in the wrong direction a long time sometimes, and the things that we're walking toward, there's danger lying there. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to stick your feet in and shuffle them around, so that way that's what we learned. So that way the stingrays and the little creatures can take off, because they don't want any part of you. They're not trying to eat you. They don't want any of that action. So maybe we need to be cautious about our steps, be cautious about the direction that we're going. Even if we have pure motives, we're not trying to be up to no good, we can still be going in the wrong direction. And so we need to be careful and cautious about the direction that we're going. And then in addition to that, when something stings us in life, when we get offended, when someone hurts us in life, the first thing we have to do is get someone else involved that knows more about it than we do. And so why? Because we need the pain to stop. The thing needs to be treated. We need advice. We need, if that barb would have stuck in there, that still needed to be pulled out. We didn't know the depth and the level of the injury at that time. And you may not know the depth and the level of what you're going through. What you're going through, all you know is it's painful. And there's some of us in life where it's just like, man, I wasn't trying to do anything wrong, and something happened to me, and this is painful. And it's getting to be, it's beyond what I can bear. It's beyond what I can endure. And so we have to get someone else involved that knows more than we do, specialists that have dealt with this kind of stuff before, the paramedic in this story, and they can not just one person either, because it could be, remember, these other paramedics, they were paramedics also, but this one guy, he's the one that knew exactly what to do. He was advising them because they were going to put ice, and he said, no, ice won't work. Ice will only make it worse. The only thing that works on this to numb the pain is hot water. And so it could be that you get the advice of someone and you're like, it's still not working. It's still not, because maybe there needs to be someone else involved that has a level of thinking beyond even the people that you've already included. So that could be you. It could be you. And then after that, a careful evaluation of what the walkthrough and the process is from there. And so I think those are good takeaways from this, is that if we find ourselves getting hurt in life, getting stung, then what we do is we stop. We have to stop the pain, and the people who will know how to stop the pain are the specialists. Now, listen, you could be getting stung in life because you have some kind of addiction, and you're like, okay, I got to stop the pain of this, and so I'll just take more drugs, or drink more alcohol, or eat more food, or get into more unhealthy relationships. That doesn't see that may look like it stops the pain, because you're just adding to what is the problem on the inside. That's why you've got to get a specialist involved, because they will tell you, no. You don't need to keep stepping on the stingray and get more poison in there. That's not an effective thing to do. What you need to do is you need to do this measure and that measure, and you have to walk through that process. Does that make sense? And so those are my thoughts. I thought I'd share them, and good news. Layla is good. She's got a sore foot from being stabbed by a stingray, and the stingray's got a new interesting story to share with his friends, and who are all named Ray, ironically. Weird. So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'm going to jump off of here, and it's 4th of July week here during the time I'm recording this, and so gonna get some work done, gonna do my thing, and get the family gathered up, and we're gonna do some cleaning today and all that kind of stuff. So I wish you guys the best day. You guys are awesome. I will see you later. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and commenting, and I appreciate it. All right, have a great day. Bye.